Hello and welcome back to episode 10 in Building a Chess Engine in Java. In this video, I'm going to talk about fence strings and how you can add them to your chess engine. Okay, so I'm going to assume that you don't have any knowledge as to what a fence string is or how to use it. So I'm on chess.com setting up a position, and you can see the pieces on the left and you can see the fence string here. Now, looking at it, you might see a bunch of letters and numbers, and basically each letter represents a piece, and each number is a consecutive blank square. So you can see the lowercase pp1, that means pawn pawn blank. And if the letter is lowercase, that means it's black, and if it's uppercase, that means it is white. Now, each slash means it's a new line. So all of these letters are the black pieces here. Then we go to the next line. And so if I were to you can look at these eights, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blank spaces. If I were to move some pawns, you can see there's a right pawn, then 3 blanks, and then some more pawns. And that is how that is going to work. And that's basically it. The P is a pawn, the B is a bishop, the N is a knight, even though it begins with a K, because the K is for the king. And that is it for the first section. Now the W, separated by a space, means white to move. If I were to set it to black to move, it becomes a B. And the next section is where the kings can castle. So the white king, you can look at the capital K and Q. So we know it means the white king can castle on the king side and the queen side. And the lowercase king and queen, or the K and Q, mean the black king can castle on the king and queen side. The next section, which is now a dash, is what square the player can en passant on. So it's not going to update it on its own right now. But if I were to make this move, it would become d3. And I'm not going to get into the next two sections. I don't have them added to the engine. I might add them in the future if enough people want that. And that's basically it. It's all that I'm going to get into today. So let's go code it. Okay, so I'm here in the board class, and the first thing I'm going to do is say public string fen starting position. And I'm going to paste the fen string. Now I'm going to have this in the description, and you can go copy it now. Then the next thing I'm going to do is in the add pieces method, I'm going to pass in the fen string, and I'm going to, instead of calling it add pieces, call it load position from fen. And I'm then going to say string fen string, like that. And we can go ahead and delete all of this and just say piecelist.clear. And this is so that if we load a position when there's already pieces in it, we don't have like duplicate pieces or like pieces on top of each other. We can then go and say string, it's going to be an array, parts is going to be equal to the fen string split by spaces. And what this is going to do, let me just comment it here. It's going to split all of these different sections up like that. And for the next bit, I'm actually going to copy and paste the completed code, and then I'm going to walk you through it. For the sake of time. Oh, like this. So the first thing, this is the code for setting up the pieces, so only this section. So the first section, we are going to loop through each character, and if it's a slash, we are going to go down to the next row. And if it's a digit, we are going to add that digit to the column. And if it's a character, meaning else, we say is white if the piece is going to be if the character is uppercase. And then we have a switch statement that passes, goes through each character and adds the corresponding character to the letter. Yeah. So if it's a N, it adds a knight. If it's a B, it adds a bishop. And after we add that character, we go to the next square. And after this, we have is white. So color to move is going to be equal to if the second section is a W. It's pretty easy to understand, at least that bit. Now, the next section is castling, and my solution to this was to get the piece at each corner and say, is that piece a rook? And if it is, we say, is first move is equal to whether or not the king can castle in that direction. Now, there might be a better way to handle castling, but this is the solution that I came up with. Now, the next section is the en passant square. Now, if it is a dash, we know that you cannot en passant, and so we set it to -1. Else, meaning we can en passant, we need a way to convert the chess notation into a number that can be given to the en passant tile. And that is what this line of code does. Now, make sure that you copy it down exactly how it is with the brackets in the same spot, or it might not work correctly. Now, this is useful because what it does is it inputs, say, E3, and it will return a number like 40, whatever number that is. Anyways, we can test the code now, just to make sure everything is going how it should. And it looks like it. You can see that the pieces loaded in the same spot. So I'm going to close it. And what I'm going to do now is actually load a different fen. So I'm going to paste this. You don't need to do this. Now I need to load it. And now if I run this code, we can see a couple of different bugs. Now the first one is that you can move the pawns 2 spaces ahead, even though you should not be able to. And the fix for this, or the reason behind it, is because in our pawn class is valid movement. When we check if a pawn can move by 2, we do it by is first move, not by where is the pawn. And so what we can do is say this dot row is equal to, then in brackets, a if statement is white, and if it is white, it's going to be 6, and if it's black, it's going to be 1. And now if I run this code, you can see you can no longer move 2 spaces. Now, the second bug is that we can en passant how we should now, but what if we make a couple moves and we can still en passant? And the fix for this one is to go into the move pawn, move pawn method, and we're going to copy this line, so en passant is equal to -1. Then in the make move method, instead of saying else if it's a king after the pawn, we're going to say else. That was not exactly what I wanted. So else on passant tile is equal to -1. And then we can have just a separate else statement for saying, is it a king? You know what? What we can actually do is say, no, I'm going to keep it like this. It might not make a difference, but... And now if I run this code, you can see we can en passant, and if I make a couple moves, we can no longer en passant. And just to double check, if I move my pieces, yeah, we can still en passant like this. Now that is actually it for the code. Now, let's say you want to make your own chess position. What you can do is go to chess.com, say learn, then analysis, then set up position. And then this leaves you to place your own pieces. Don't put two kings. Just like this. And you can make whatever position you want, like that. And you could copy this fen, then back into the code, we can say string my fen is equal, and then you can just paste it in. Then pass it in here. And now if you play, you can see we have that same position here with all of the rules how it should be. Just like that. And that's everything. If you liked this video, please like the video and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.